Welcome back. All right. So, Tiberius currently is holding Luminosa's face. That's a thing?
Luminosa, your face fell off. Is that supposed to happen?
I believe it was a mask.
It was going to look through the eye holes of said mask.
It's a mask.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of holding it. If you'd remove the pig, you could have the mask back.
Activities.
Luminosa.
Yes. And the voice sounds a little different.
Like a cat? Because that was a
No,
cat.
it does not sound like a cat.
They were
Sorry, I have
taxi all along.
a cat.
Kitty?
Yeah, she's
Share
on the
the
back
kitty!
she's on the back of the chair right now, playing. So
Hey, baby!
Sweet Pete, it is not playtime on the back of my chair, please.
Oh, baby!
Okay. But yeah, about Rose, Frias, Various, does anyone else go to investigate what's happening over with Luminosa?
Freys will walk over.
Rose
Tiberius,
will
are you
also.
sure this is...
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Rose will try to walk over so long as the toys don't cause too much impediment.
I mean, have you closed the chest box at all?
Not yet.
Oh, then they're still attacking you.
Rose
lifeless.
will go over and close the chest.
The moment you close it, all the toys suddenly fall lifeless. Just on the ground.
Huh.
Also, why is this bed so incredibly fluffy?
And full of pigs.
I'm not asking that part.
Lots of pigs. Yeah, it's a very soft and fluffy bed.
Tiberius, maybe just give the mask back.
I'm holding it out, but she's not reaching for it.
I don't want you guys to be mad at me. And the voice sounds really familiar.
Why would we be mad at you, Luminosa?
Because...
Did you try and attack another lord?
No.
Then I don't see how we'd be mad at you. Did you kill the king?
No.
Then what in...
I was with you. And then I was dead. And then I was with you again.
During the period in which you were dead, you could have been killing the king. I don't know how these things work. Apparently they're stupid enough to think that when someone's gone for a week, they're actually committing regicide.
No, I'm pretty sure Reggie is still alive.
God damn it.
Now take that pig off your face and talk to us. And put your face back on.
Okay, but promise you won't be mad.
I'm getting mad right now.
There's a sigh. And you see a lot of long golden hair. A lot of it. And when the pig is pulled down, it's flicks.
What?
Yeah. Under the mask
So-
was Flix.
I mean, but... that makes sense.
Yeah?
So, a
The
statement in a
skin is,
question.
is the same color as like what Luminosa's skin color was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on.
Yeah, you had the picture.
Yeah, this is what he'll look like soon enough.
Yep, there he is.
Aw.
Oh.
Yep.
They just have to get more comfortable.
He actually took the form of somebody else entirely because Rosa said that some yeah, you can share on stream. Some primordials end up looking completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And after everything he had done, he was worried that everybody was going to hate him.
Oh.
You know, causing a fight with the Lord, getting killed by said Lord.
All right, so you changed your face.
What?
You look like Flix again, Luminosa.
I am Flix. I've always been Flix.
But
Yes.
are you a primordial Flix or regular Flix?
They are primordial. The eyes are very telling.
What
Yeah,
would you like to
primordial.
be called?
Well, I'm Flix, but Rose said that some primordials are totally different when they come back, and I didn't want. And he's like putting his two fingers together. He's like, I didn't want everyone to hate me because I picked a fight with Matarak, and I almost won, and but then I died.
On what plane did you almost win?
The one where I cut him, okay?
Freys is going to take a seat besides Flix, take one of their hands and be like, next time, please, just come try and see us. Okay?
Can primordials cry?
Yes, they can.
Okay. He bursts into tears and hugs Frias.
Oh.
Freys returns the hug, slowly rubbing their back.
Rose, well, has turned around after closing the toy chest, and yeah, those unmistakable long locks. Yeah.
But you don't remember being a prince. Now that you've seen these pigs, you remember being abducted?
Yeah. My head still hurts a bit. But it was definitely well, evil Jericho and evil Florence.
Well, I guess we have multiple questions to ask. This mystery just continues to compound itself. Is there anything in here that can give us any leeway on the murder of the king? Just to get that out of the way. Additionally, do you think anyone will recognize you as the missing Prince Flix if you were to walk around like that?
I have no idea.
He's going to hand the mask back.
I will take the mask. I will put my hair back under the coif. I'll pull a pastry out of where the breasts are. Eat it quickly, and then put the mask on.
One pastry was the boob?
No, there's a magician there.
So I'm just picturing like that scene from Miss Congeniality when they're trying to get all the stuff off her, like the sweets that she was trying to smuggle in. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie.
Yeah.
That's
been so long.
exactly what that was.
Amazing.
I love that.
Prius, if you're free, could you see if what kind of magic is on this knife?
Yeah, sure, and she'll just hold a hand up. Well, she could actually just see it in his hand, so
Okay, and how would you like to try to identify or anything?
Well, unless it's been 10 minutes, Detect Magic is still up. I should be able to check what school it's from.
It is
Right.
conjuration.
And she'll get back to him and say, looks like conjuration magic.
Well, I mean, that would make sense considering that those toys, which I'm guessing this knife had a hand in making, came to life just now. Still, and with this little thing, I have my doubts this would have taken out an Archfey.
Did you want to roll investigation on the knife itself?
Sure. Where's my sheet? That would be total 23.
It seems like a basic wood carver's knife. Something that's used for just carving little bits of wood. It is nowhere near sharp enough to probably pierce armor, of all things.
Hmm.
Not only that, but it seems to be made of folded steel, which is not great for combat.
Either way, I think it would be prudent to hold on to the knife for now, considering that that we did not. Now that we know who used to occupy this room, then perhaps when we cross paths with Reggie again, it might be of importance. Otherwise, should we take our investigation elsewhere?
Oh, is it okay if we keep calling you Luminosa, or should we go back to Flix when we get back to the plains?
When we get back to the plains, Flix is fine. Just here, probably best to use my fake name.
The actual fake name or Luminosa?
Oh, I was using Luminosa.
Oh. Anyway, there was a jeweler's kit inside your chest. It seems to be enchanted. Would you mind if we took it or examined it?
Yeah, go ahead.
First, we'll go back to the chest that is still open because she does not want that going off again. And check which school the jeweler's kit's from.
The jeweler's kit is abjuration.
Boy, I wish I knew what abjuration was. And would anyone care to have this? Obviously, Luminosa has first dibs.
Just so you know, abjuration is stuff like blade ward, resistance, absorb elements, armor of Agdes, mage
Ooh.
armor, that stuff.
The fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Or we could just get it 3 times in wild magic again.
God. I'm sad that recording got taken down. I'm so mad about that because that was great.
But Freys is holding up the box, seeing if anyone wants it.
It's a very nice looking box. Very ornate, very flashy, very glittery. It's covered in rhinestones.
You know, if you're, Luminosa, if your memories are starting to resurface, at least we should, if you know, probably keep it by you. Then maybe it'll help to trigger something eventually.
Yeah, yeah. Are you mad at me, Rose?
Well, we can touch on that later. We still have business to do.
Oh, okay.
where do we go from here? They said Queen said the guard towers are accessible to us, or did we want to go? There was also the throne room as well.
And to speak to the captain of the guard, or he knew about the patrols, which means that if someone knew about the patrols, they could sneak in unseen.
Well, the guard would probably be much closer. Is there anything else of note that I could see before probably magic vision goes beep-a-doo-doo?
No, for the most part, you can just tell that several blips of magic are from just the various toys around the room. Specifically, the straw dummy on the adventure side of the room seems to be enchanted that it constantly recovers and mends itself.
Coolio.
That's about it. Where do you want to
So
go
where
from
to?
here?
Check with the captain or check with the throne room?
We've been bothering enough people. Let's go check the throne room, and then we'll bug some more people.
So you're leaving the children's rooms?
And first, we'll re-up detect magic once they get to the room, because it's ritual, it's free, why not?
It's free real estate. But is everyone leaving the room?
Looks that
Yes.
way.
Yes.
And where does the group want to head together? You want to head to the throne room, or do you want to investigate a different area?
I think at this point it's the throne room to try and figure out how the killer got in.
Yeah.
Unless they like snipe shot something through a teleporter. Which, if that's the case, narrowing eyes.
No, but you guys begin to head down from the second floor. The guards kind of give you a side eye as you walk past. But eventually you head downwards and you begin to head past the staircase into what looks to be a grand hall. Eventually, it opens up into this huge sort of almost courtroom-esque style room. There are seats leading up to what looks to be a massive throne. Most of the lights are dimmed here. It's very quiet. There's no one really here for the most part. There is also a large stained glass window behind the throne itself.
So, how tall was the king?
You don't know that.
Are there guards still in the throne room?
No,
There's
there's
nobody
no
here.
one here. No one there.
Is there any marking in the throne of where the thing went through, if it went through, like a piercing hole?
Give me an investigation.
But I'm bad at that.
Can I use both investigation and my magic vision? Even if it does. Oh, never mind.
Wow. Oh,
Gotcha.
Tiberius
okay.
cares.
Never mind, we got Tiberius for that.
Tiberius, this reeks of just, you've seen stuff like this before. This is like prime setup for someone to get murdered, especially if it's just a straight shot to the throne. You're gonna investigate that throne. There's something going on here, so you kind of march your way past Rose, surprisingly, and you kind of go right up to the throne. And as you're beginning to look at it, you notice that the cushions on the front, on like the seat in the back, are huge. This guy was probably maybe 10 or so feet tall. This was a big person, a big king. But as you're looking at the throne specifically, you first think, okay, well, maybe from the front. So you turn around, kind of look, kind of scan the area, but don't really see any vantage points. There's no belfries, there's no lofts, only the front doors. So you turn back around, probably to get a look at the stained glass window, and then you notice something on the throne itself. There is a pierce hole, a pierce mark on what looks to be the left-hand side upper torso area of the throne. Whatever the king was hit with pierced through to the point where it also pierced the throne. And it looks like a very clean pierce. Not an arrow, but something else.
How wide is the piercing?
Yeah, he's gonna point it out to everyone. I believe we found the meta mark, I don't know what you call it, meta spot, death hole. Death hole. We're going with death hole.
Death hole?
Death.
So,
Yeah.
I would say that it's at least, considering Tiberius' size, if he balled his fist up and put it up to the hole, it'd be about that size. It is a substantial hole.
Damn.
Does it look like it would have been made by a longsword, I think it would be called?
It's definitely not made by that dagger thing.
No. Like,
I would say if you want to look into it, Luminosa, you would need your own investigation roll.
okay. I'm bad at it, but I'll give it a shot.
How many pastries do you have stuffed in your mouth?
There's a lot.
I'd say it's enough. You kind of get up close. You're a little bit taller, so you can see the hole just a little bit better. If it was a longsword, it would be lengthwise, not a circular, perfect hole. This feels more like the work of a rapier.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not good. That's not good. Can Various check the back of the throne?
Sure. Need an investigation check there too.
Damn!
Dang!
Jesus!
Ooh.
So Various, you kind of work your way around to the back of the throne. There's a big stained glass window up there, but for the most part, the back of it's kind of barren, a little dusty. But you notice that there is a dent right where that hole was at the back of the throne. Didn't go all the way through, but there's a dent. So whoever killed the king, whatever went through him, was done with some force.
Now, he was killed. Was it roughly a month ago?
A month ago.
And how long have Jericho and Florence been Mercutio and Tybalt?
Currently,
Yeah. Like, when did they turn?
their current lapse was about a week. But you do know that they have been known to lapse periodically. AKA
Maybe-
returning to that insanity every now and then, only to be brought back when their humanity takes control again.
I'm wondering if Mercutio could have done it. Because he's the one with the rapier, right?
He has a rapier, yes. A lot of people do.
Yeah, but he's the only one with enough power to potentially go up against an Fae King.
Who's to say?
A regular person with just a rapier is not going to be able to pull it off, but a
Maybe he
Also-
got really lucky.
he got really lucky.
Also, a Gardanian fist-sized hole? That doesn't sound like a normal-sized rapier. They're usually nice and thin.
Pay in mind, the king was a big man. Who's to say that that's the tip of the rapier?
It could
Considering,
have been all the way
especially,
through.
mm-hmm.
Like, they could have, because if it pierced through the throne itself, they probably went all the way to the hilt to make sure.
Did they twist it a few times?
Probably.
Because as Various is looking around the throne, the actual throne itself, the cushion makes up a good part of it, but the back of it is actually quite thick. The fact that there's a dent on the other side meant that it went in pretty deep.
I don't think Reggie
is-
is capable of that.
No.
Now, is the flooring leading up to the throne then? Is there like carpeting or a rug, or is it like, how is it set up?
There is a rug. Yes, it is patterned with the various different colors of summer, orange, yellows, and stuff like that. Almost like a It mimics the screen, the stained glass that's above the throne, kind of like a fractal crystal-like look, as well as on the rug.
Okay. So if the king was stabbed while on the throne, question is, how would someone have approached them?
Probably someone they knew. Hey, old friend. Shink.
Luminosa, would you be aware if anyone knew if there was visitors? Do they keep any sort of any logs or tallies of visitors that come through in here, especially if they're on, say, official enough business to be visiting the king?
Would I know that kind of general information, Nova?
No, but probably wouldn't hurt to ask around people that might work here, probably.
I don't know for sure, Rose, but maybe some of the staff know.
Mm-hmm. That might be some. Yeah, we could also, because we were going to check the captain of the guard, we can also check with the captain and the other guards too. Maybe they have a recount or a record of who was visiting the night that King was murdered, or shortly beforehand.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, by the way, any sort of magic in the room?
Nope.
Doki.
Almost seems like a magical dead zone.
Also, would any of us see the dimension door just suddenly coming up?
Pardon?
In chat, Tiberius is trying to cast dimension door.
Alright, hold on. I gotta do something then. 'Cause
Oh
you're
boy.
casting- Okay. Tiberius says you cast Dimension Door and pass through it. You feel like you're being thrown around, as if something has taken control of the spell from you. And suddenly you wind up in an empty cell in the dungeon. Just fall through the ceiling, boom!
Oh. Oh no.
Where did Tibbs go?
Oh, I technically had magic vision up. I should have seen that, right?
Yeah.
Phrase is just gonna go. Tiberius apparently wanted to explore without us.
Of course he did. Where would Tiberius have wandered to this time of day in this place?
He's
Could
either
I insight?
Nope, sorry.
What are you inciting? There's no one there.
Various is trying to insight where Tibbs would have gone to if Tibbs had gone somewhere.
I'd say go ahead and roll me insight then.
No.
You have no idea. For all you
Tibbs
know,
is
he
an
could have
enigma.
teleported. If anything, he probably teleported out.
Tibbs.
Tiberius, out!
So yeah, Tiberius, you kind of pull yourself up from the ground. That was a rough landing, and you're inside one of the empty cells now. The cell door is locked and closed.
Yes. So, they didn't dimension door in, or else they would have wound up here. Lovely.
Lovely.
So go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand, and if you have lockpicks, at advantage. Tink. Yeah, that's unlocked. That wasn't that hard of a door. It's a good thing no one was around to see you do that.
No one saw anything. It's fine. There, close the door, lock it back up. This is hurting.
Yeah, your back hurts a bit now.
He's gonna start making his way back to the throne room while the rest of them are doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're all. I'm just imagining like the camera cuts back from where Tiberius was coming out of the cells back up to the room. Okay, so we're all in agreement. Tibbs went back for the rest of the bonbons, right?
If that makes you feel better, I'm sure the guards will eventually throw him at us. Yes, Various.
Nothing. I'm sure he will catch up.
Yeah, basically that's what happened.
I mean, I could scry and know exactly where he is, but do we want to waste something like that right now?
Oh.
At least someone call Freya's out on being able to scry something.
I need to... Give me 1 second. Would that be an intelligence check to catch that?
I guess, yeah.
You guys knew this. She scried on the false Hydra.
It's been a little bit,
Oh, okay, that's
and we were repeatedly asking about scrying.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd say so.
So Varys sort of looks over at Frias. Frias?
yes.
You can scry?
Oh yes, I learned it from one of the books back in Water.
We were... Ah. Ah.
What's going on here now?
I mean, I figured the
We're,
way. Sorry.
We were needing to scry earlier, and brought that up a few times, but let's continue.
I'm just imagining a very angry bunny back leg thump.
Maybe he's not quite at thumping levels of angry.
The Tiberius can get him to that level.
Yes, Tiberius is the one who can get him to that level.
Oh well,
That
the way
I
Tiberius
shouldn't have
was-
said it that way. I'm sorry.
Not wrong.
Grace will respond with, well, the way Tiberius was talking, he seemed to think you knew how to do it, so I didn't want to take anything away from you.
Divination is not exactly my specialty. I always assumed that he could do it.
Well, we all know I know how to do it. I guess we could look into that later.
Yeah, let's keep that in that back pocket. Are we going to look for Tibbs or something?
If he does not want to be found, he won't be found. But if he does want to be found, he will be found.
Oh, true. Oh, otherwise we're done here. Should we go check with the guard captain?
Yes.
I'm not against it.
So you guys
I-
leave the throne room.
I would like to talk to Reginald.
Hmm.
If possible. Again.
I mean, why don't we go get what we can from the captain first of all, and then once we have all that info gathered, then yeah, we can go check with Reginald again.
Very well.
So you guys leave the throne room. Tibbs, can you roll me a random 1d20?
Sure. Is this for how broken my tailbone is?
Maybe. Yeah, you're limping along, so it takes you a little bit to finally make it to the foyer. But by this time, the group has left the throne room, so your paths cross, and you guys see Tibbs kind of limping from where the dungeons were.
No. I found out.
Tiberius.
Mm-hmm. What did you do? They did not come in through magical means. Anyone trying to teleport into the throne room would find themselves in the dungeons.
I don't have Give
I-
me a moment.
I'm sure my bones will knit.
Stop that. Oh,
I suppose. Thank you for testing that theory out.
Yes, remind me to test it on someone else next time.
So what is everyone's passive perception?
19.
Okay.
I believe mine is 17?
Okay.
Yeah,
Laughs and
17.
tips.
13.
So, as this is happening, most specifically, Frias, you kind of are looking around like, here we go again. Something catches your eye up in the loft of the foyer. You
Which
see what
eye?
looks...
Sorry.
Yes. You see what looks to be a two-tailed black cat with a red collar watching you from high above in the loft.
She's gonna look right at it.
And it stares right back at you.
Mr. Whiskers.
It's got bright, icy blue eyes.
Slowly looks at our innkeeper. Slowly looks back.
Oh damn! I haven't eaten cat.
No, bad.
Oh no, I have.
Wait a second. Also bad.
You can't really get any major details out of it outside of the bright blue eyes and the red collar. But the moment you look away,
Actually, before she looks away, she's going to be like, Luminosa, did your family own a pet?
I don't remember. I'm assuming they did.
Well, for anyone else to remember, this is when she looks away to look at the group.
mhm,
Black cat, two tails, red collar, and then she's gonna look back up.
the cat's gone.
Ah. And it's
Sorry.
gone.
Who has a feline as a pet? That sounds like a very dangerous thing to do.
Does seem like a very unwise decision.
Oh, being in the company of a predator usually helps soothe some people.
Excuse me.
I'm
What?
with Various in this one.
Well, then again, I can't say much considering our pets at home. But felines are large creatures with a tendency to pounce and kill Gardanians.
Our felines are a little different here. Not much, well, for you, might be about hip height, maybe knee height for the rest of us folk.
That's not a feline.
That's very small.
Yes, cats are very small. They are what you're talking to us would be more of tigers or larger animals.
How did you make them small? It still seems like a bad idea.
You see Freya's try to reach into her bag for a book, and she pulls out a book, she looks at it, frowns, puts it back, and is like,
Yeah.
I can't give you a complete history, but just some animals once domesticated were doing much better as they were being small and cute. And thus they adapted to staying smaller and cuter.
Liz, could you do me a favor?
Mhm.
Please pick me up.
Eh,
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get him up. Give him a little pat. You okay, buddy?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Do I have to lay on hands? You wouldn't get that hurt.
No, I'm good.
Did you break your leg?
No, it's not broken. It just simply landed very poorly on a very delicate place.
Ah.
The ah is the best part.
One ear is going to cock sideways. Not a word.
So shall we?
Where are
The
you
guard
guys
captain?
going? You know that the guard barracks are on the second floor, the guard towers.
Yes.
So, yeah, you guys are starting to head up there. And, again, the guards don't really harass you, but you notice that the lights have dimmed upstairs. Any windows that shine light in from the outside have noticeably also gone dim, as it is now nighttime outside. And, the guard towers are pretty easy to get to. You can pretty much tell where a lot of them are due to the congregation of guards, just in general. And inside, what looks to be a large tower structure is, of course, barracks, as you would expect. And a few side rooms and offices. There are some guards mulling about. Most of them look elvish in appearance. Obviously, other Eladrin, possibly. Some don't have their helmets removed at all. But they seem to be mostly keeping to themselves and muttering in a language that most of you don't seem to understand.
What language?
Let me see something real quick. You don't know, Frias.
Damn. Oh, and I don't have comprehend languages either. Damn.
Let me see. Just double checking everyone's language proficiencies real quick. Okay. And let's check you. Okay, so Luminosa, you're the only one that recognizes what language they're using. They're talking in Sylvan.
Have that. I have Sylvan.
Yes, you do. That's what I was checking.
And what are they saying?
They seem to just be chatting, like idle banter about how boring it's been since the lockdown and how nothing interesting happens in the palace and wow, I cannot wait to be put off duty so I can go home and do something exciting. I plan on getting drunk after I'm done. What about you? That kind of conversation.
Okay, I'll just sort of relay that to the party.
Loudly or quietly?
Probably more quieter. We are trying to keep a lower profile.
A few guards will kind of look your way, but they won't really bother you. They know they're under orders of the queen to kind of let you guys have free reign.
One could say we could get away with murder.
God damn it.
Bruh.
tilts a picture frame about 2 degrees.
That's the equivalent of murder now.
They'll never know. Monster. So to the guard captain, I guess.
Yep.
These guys are just lounging about.
Yeah, they're not really doing much.
Give me a perception roll, whoever's looking.
I'm too busy rubbing my poor tail.
Scroll. Oh god. Yeah, sure.
Jesus.
Gosh, Fairy is just pulling all the natural 19s today.
Various came to look.
Perception.
Various, you kind of are rolling your eyes at Tibbs, kind of.
Okay.
Holy! Yeah, Various and
Came to
Prius.
look.
I would say Various is the one that finds him first because natural 20 or not, he still got the higher roll. But as you guys are kind of looking around, you start going to the side rooms. Various is kind of leading the charge, but he kind of goes down a few of the offices, looks into one, no lights, looks in the other one, no lights. Reaches about the third out of all 5, and will kind of peek his head in, and there is someone indeed working at what looks to be a desk inside. They're mostly armored. They're in royal-looking garb, so it's like the armor itself is like a white with the gold and brass trim that the entire palace is seen with, so it kind of reflects the colors of whatever's around them. They seem to be an elven man, not a ladrin, surprisingly enough. They have almost bright platinum white hair that's tied up in a bun. And they have a pair of what looks to be framed glasses on the bridge of their noses. They're reading over what looks to be reports. They look like an older gentleman. There are definitely some lines underneath their eyes, but their ears are incredibly long, so it might be safe to say that they might be like a high elf or something.
All right.
And of course, Rose and Frias will stop at the door that Various has looked into as well and see the same thing.
Maybe someone who would know who's been in and out, if that were such a thing.
They look official.
Fair enough.
Can Freya's knock on the door frame?
Yeah. And
Knock, knock, knock.
as you knock, the individual will look up. They'll kind of adjust the glasses on the bridge of their nose. Oh, you're the... Come on in. You're the ones the queen decided to give free roam to, aren't you?
Indeed.
All right. Well, if it's to hide the investigation, what can I do for you?
You wouldn't happen to have any kind of paperwork that tells who's been in and out of the building at any given time?
The guard captain kind of raises a brow at you. It's like, no, this is a public forum. Unless you come up to the upper rooms, no.
Fair. In that case, then, do you, or was any relayed by your guards then? Was there anyone of note who was visiting or had arrived to the castle shortly before the King's murder?
And, the guard captain kind of sits back and it's like, I'm going to tell the exact same thing I told you out in court. Summer and spring were mulling about in the early afternoon, and that was about all the visitors we had that day.
That brings up another question then. Since the king was found dead in the throne room, then would there have been any way that anyone would have managed to teleport by magical means in and out of there?
We have enchantments over the entire facility. If any teleportation magics, dimension door and the like are used, you are immediately thrown into the dungeons. So.
Is that to everyone or to
Everyone.
only outside? Okay.
And you mentioned weapon restrictions?
Yes, those are part of the lockdown.
What are those exactly?
Currently, only guards are allowed to carry any formal weapons on the premises.
And what would be the standard outfit for a guard?
He's just staring at you incredulously.
How about before this lockdown?
We wear the same uniforms every day.
No. I mean the restrictions.
Similar restrictions, but all weapons had to remain sheathed.
So someone could come in with.
Yes. Many of the monarchs were often seen doing so. It's often to show a status.
Which ones had pointy weapons, like rapiers? Large.
Rapiers.
Many.
I don't exactly look at all the weapons that our guests carry.
Oh,
No.
question for Nova.
Yes.
Since we saw where the hole was, about sitting, that would be
Where
say
the
6,
king's
7
heart.
feet.
Yeah, 6, 7 feet. Where the heart would have been for the king.
And I'm sure we've probably seen out in the street, how often are tall people in the Feywild?
You didn't really people watch, so you don't know.
Damn. Alright. No question then.
Okay. But the guard captain's kind of looking at all of you. It's like, I'm pretty sure we've given everything we could to the Auto Investigation Bureau.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyone else have any questions in mind?
Tiberius is trying to keep his mouth shut.
Look, if you're looking for witness accounts, you best ask the servants. They tend to be a lot more... what's the term for it? Ears to the ground, eyes open sorts, since they go all over the place. My guards usually patrol specific areas or stand guard in certain locations.
And would-
Same thing I've told Yachtencourt.
And is there anyone intimately familiar as you are with their patterning?
That would be the king and the queen. But currently, as you know, one of them is dead.
Where will we find the servants at this hour?
They're usually down in their quarters on the first floor. Since the lockdown, none of them are allowed to go anywhere within the palace alone, at least unescorted.
And if, say, we... The brain. Say if we can find one of their accounts quite credible, is there any way we could walk one of them to a scene for them to describe what could have happened?
Currently, the servants are not allowed to leave their quarters without the guard currently being escorted with them. So I would appreciate if you did not do that.
Why I asked first.
Mm-hmm.
So, shall we, do we want to go see Reginald first, or the servants?
I would probably suggest in that case we might want to see the servants, considering what hour it's going to be. And then we can see Reginald.
Well, are all in favor?
Yes.
And the guard captain kind of shoo you off.
All right.
Disappear.
Yeah, and I guess we're gonna head back to the first floor and go see with the servants.
Okay. It is starting to get a bit late. There is a chill that is settling over the castle itself. But you kind of go past the ballroom, go past the dining area, and you eventually find yourself in what looks to be the servants' bunks. It's not so much a barracks, but it's a little bit nicer. There are dressers, there are bunk beds, there are a bunch of different types of people just mulling about. Some are already asleep right now. It has a small kitchenette where they cook their own meals and the like. But the appearance of the area seems very much a case of these people have been kind of locked up and cooped up in their quarters ever since this began, so the beds are not fully made. There's some laundry laying about as they're just kind of waiting. A majority of the servants seem to be either different types of Fae or Eladrin. That seems to be very common in here. There's a bugbear or two, kind of large, bearish-looking creatures with large claws. They seem to be manning the small kitchenette. There's two of them in particular that are just kind of chatting to each other in Sylvan. Your presence in the quarters is not unknown to them. You get a few kind of cautious glances, but no one really bothers you. They kind of figure that since you're new to the place, you're probably part of the investigation team.
Excuse me, everyone. But I'm looking to see if any of you were in or around the premises of the throne room at the time that during the King's untimely demise, or on that day.
Some people kind of look up and kind of look between each other, and one of the bugbears that kind of is messing with what looks to be scrambled eggs on the stovetop kind of looks up to you. It's like, yeah, I was kind of tending to old Siegfried that day. Why?
It's our understanding that there were visitors from the spring and summer courts that day as well. Then, anyone of particular note that you're aware of?
It happens all the time. It was the summer and the spring monarchs. They tend to visit quite often. We don't really think much of it. And then suddenly, a pixie who's sitting on one of the bunk beds kind of pipes up. It's like, yeah, but it was kind of weird that the spring monarch was the first one to show up after the fact. It's like he rushed over here.
You
was
mean
immediately all over the queen.
After the King's murder, you mean?
Yeah, after word got out.
What is the spring monarch's name?
Mean old Archibald? Is a kind of a, and then you see the pixie trying to find the words for it, but then from underneath one of the bunks looks to be a sentient owlbear. They kind of poke their head out. It's like, it's a bit of a pervert if you ask me, but kind of a high and mighty satyr.
What was the general idea of the relationship between the King and the Spring Monarch? Like their history?
I mean, they pretty much the same with all other rulers. Kind of just treated them cordially, and then the bugbear will speak up again. He liked to kind of try to treat the king as his best friend and getting all close. I mean, he does that with everyone. He even does it to us sometimes. It's really weird.
We'll look back over.
The pixie is chiming in after that, and it's like, I mean, he's a friendly guy. He's spring after all. He kind of embodies the whole thing, and the servants start chatting amongst themselves after that.
It's gonna Wilford's gonna look back towards the limping rabbit. Filbert, does this behavior, Spring Monarch, does this ring any alarm bells for you, considering your own dealings?
Who are you asking?
Asking Tibbs. under their cover name.
Ah.
Oh. Huh? What?
The
Oh,
Spring Monarch has a history of getting all chubby with the king, and then
Oh.
being the first on the scene after the murder.
That would indicate that they're quite inept at creating a murder, truth be told. If you're the first one on the scene, then it's quite obvious that it was you, especially if you're trying to get chummy with the individual's partner.
Hmm.
But he could also simply be trying to win a doe's affection once the buck is out of the way, as some just jump on opportunity like that. Again, a rookie mistake.
And then the pixie's like, yeah, that kind of sounds like him. I mean, all of us think it was the Summer Monarch, considering the fact that he hated Siegfried and his wife.
That seems to be the general descent.
Quick
It was
question.
just generally nasty anytime he came here.
Quick question. You wouldn't happen to know if they carried weapons on them?
I mean, what monarch doesn't carry weapons? And Yalber is like, yeah, it's pretty normal, unless they have their guards with them, but even they carry weapons. It's kind of like, when they try to push their strength around, bully people, that kind of thing.
And
Or-
you wouldn't happen to have catched what weapons they were carrying?
Which person? Everyone
Mm.
carries their own weapons.
Would either of them be particularly apt at fencing weapons?
The servants all kind of look around, it's like, we don't watch them fight. The only ones we've watched fight are the Summer Monarch and the King. And Summer uses a big old greatsword. Damn thing's huge.
Great sword, huh?
That or a hammer. And then the bugbear chimes up, it's like, oh, you should have seen when him and Siegfried went off after each other with warhammers. That was a cool fight.
Has he ever used a rapier?
Hell if I know. We don't exactly go to the summer court areas. We kind of live here.
And about how tall would be the Spring and Summer Monarch?
And they kind of look at you. It's like, the pixie's like, what, do you expect us to know the personal details of the monarchs? We tend to the royal family, not them.
So the royal family, the monarchs just are allowed to go wherever they wish and do whatever they please then.
Yeah.
You're just asking for more assassinations.
Look, this is the first one in, what, how many years? The owlbear looks up, it's like, a couple, I think this is the first one in history, actually.
I'm surprised. Perhaps you're just not
Well,
as imaginative as you thought.
Well, no, we're talking about, like, the royal family. When it comes down to the actual courts, oh, that shit happens all the time. But not here. Not here.
Well, now it does. And unless this gets under control, I have a feeling the next king will have the exact same fate.
I mean, I think the last, like, shift in power we had was in winter, and that's when the current Winter Queen kind of, hostile takeover and everything. That was some news to read.
Hostile takeover? The doe manipulated her way into...
Oh, hell no, it was not manipulation.
I see.
What did she do?
Hold on, I gotta talk something. Well, they said that, like, the moment she stepped in there, she pretty much unleashed hell on the entire Winter Court. And we mean that figuratively and literally. Like, actual demon summoning.
Oh. Oh my.
Yeah, apparently she called her boyfriend. That's what everyone's talking about. That they call her the ice bitch and the ice bitch and the demon.
And who's her boyfriend?
Some demon named Hades.
Huh.
But they said that apparently from what I've been hearing, is that like she took the entire queen's head clean off and like showed it off. And was like, yep, that's she's the new winter queen. No one's gonna argue with her there.
I mean, it gets the point across.
But that's the only recent real kerfuffle that's been happening. Then of course this.
Huh.
Hmm. So there's quite a few people that could have done this. However, none of them sound like they just simply up and stab an individual.
Hmm.
So, were there any windows or places that were extra dirty after the murder? Or extra clean?
The servants now kind of look between each other, and there's a few shrugs here and there before what looks to be an Eladrin looks up. She's kind of dainty, has several blue flowers throughout her icy cold hair, and she kind of shrugs like, "No, they kind of blocked us from going in there after Our Lady discovered him. We haven't been allowed to go into the throne room at all. Not even the queen."
I mean, that would make sense. Don't want to disturb any potential evidence.
Well,
They haven't cared about evidence. They've locked everything away, and they said that the Autumn Court has already done their primary investigation, Rose.
Well, I said they care. I didn't say they cared that much.
hi. Sorry, kitty. Kitty. Yeah, that's really about it.
Anything else anyone wants to bring to mind?
Who was the handbuck to the king?
The what?
Who was their primary serf? The one who brought them everything they required? The one who tended to their needs?
It tends to rotate based on the day, but she kind of motions at the bugbear that's working on the stove. It's like, Jerome back there was waiting on Lord Siegfried that day. Yeah. Yeah.
And before his demise, did he request anything particular?
No, we just were kind of wrapping up for the night. He dismissed me to return to my quarters as usual at the usual time.
So wait, wrapping up. So this took place. So this took place late in the day or evening, then.
Yeah, it was after hours, basically. Eventually, we do close at the palace so, the royal family can rest and have their private time and the like.
Were there any, or did anyone on the floor see any last-minute visitors that day, just before the king's murder?
No. We thought we'd shoot everyone out.
So, it was the end of the day, you were finishing your shift, and this is common. In other words, someone knew your schedule quite well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Are you telling me that you don't change your schedule on a regular basis? You're literally how are people still alive here?
Hey. The king likes consistency, alright?
So easy to murder them all. Oh.
Tiberius' aneurysm is going to start causing physical damage.
Look, until now it hasn't been a problem. We've been doing... my great-great-grandfather was serving King Siegfried. Not a single problem.
Wait, how long do your people live?
Oh, my kind in particular, live about 90 or so years, give or take. I've been working for the royal family for generations, and you get a few, yeah, same here, from around the room.
How long do they live?
Like, the royal family?
Yes.
Lord Siegfried has been around for... golly. And the pixie chimes in, like, I think he took over his own father about 1,500 years ago, and he only recently got married and had sons.
Ah!
I mean, he was an archfey. They're kind of like gods.
So this could have been a grudge from over a millennia that finally came to fruition.
Probably. We don't know. The only thing we have to go off is that the king's dead, and the only thing they found in the chamber was that old ceremonial sword that gets passed down from ruler to ruler. That's why they kind of thought poor Reggie did it. But poor kid, just... I feel sorry for the poor kid.
Yes, we should go and talk to Reginald.
Right. Unless anyone has any other questions, I suppose it is getting late for the lot of you. We'll leave you all be then.
Alright.
So I guess we're going to go see Reggie again?
Heading down to the dungeons.
Yep.
No one has any more questions?
Nope.
I've been taking too many notes to think of questions.
Also, I'm aware of the time. That's why we're going to be wrapping up as you guys head into the foyer. And as you kind of reconvene the foyer, you're getting ready to go see Reginald. But the guards seem to be closing up several doors for now, including the ones back into the dungeons. They do look to you, and one in particular approaches. It's like, we are closing up the palace for tonight. The queen and the servants need their rest. If you want to continue an investigation, you're gonna have to come back in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else?
Sounds good.
Yep, I guess we take our leaves then.
Alright. You folks have a nice night. They'll lead you out to the front. And several other guards will also lead you to the bridges that lead into the rest of Wonderland. And from outside, the bright, shimmering, almost burning look of the citadel of the castle is now replaced with much duller look, as there's no more sunlight and the like shining down on the brass and gold. There's a few lights still dotting the towers here and there, but it's almost somber looking with how few lights there are turned on inside. There's the Queen's chamber, which still has light shining through, but the rest of the palace, outside the servants' quarters, have all gone dark. You begin to head back to the tavern that you had purchased previously, the rooms that you had purchased previously. And for the most part, you get to walk back in silence. And that is where we'll be leaving off for today. I'll be opening up off the clock for roleplay. If you would like to discuss your findings, roleplay a bit back at the tavern or the ryokan, and try to piece together exactly what is happening here. You have some clues, but not all of them. I will say, DM note, you probably got maybe about 30% of the clues.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The one important question Tiberius now wants to ask is what was the last time Reginald ever saw said dagger?
Well, it's not really a dagger. You guys haven't seen the weapon yet.
The weapon in particular.
But I'd like to thank you all for playing tonight. And I thank everyone in the audience for watching. Yay. Well, this mystery has only just started. So, have a nice night.
Good night.
Night.
Night.